Some nights don't just whisper, they scream. Some streets don't just guide you, they test you. And if you're not ready, Brooklyn will eat you alive. I learned that the hard way. My name is Jack Sullivan, 27 Wall Street analyst. Clean suits, clean shoes, clean lies. My life was a spreadsheet, predictable and safe, at least until the night I missed my train and stumbled into her world. A world painted in fire. That night was supposed to be like any other. Late hours at the office, numbers crunching in my ears, the glow of a monitor burning my eyes. But when I stepped into the subway, the train doors closed before I could reach them. Just like that, I was stranded, left to walk streets I didn't belong to. Brooklyn after midnight was another planet. The air smelled of oil and rain. Alleys hummed with broken neon. Sirens echoed somewhere in the distance. I loosened my tie, shoved my hands into my pockets, and walked with the uneasy awareness of a man far from his world. And then I turned a corner, and everything changed. The wall was alive. A mural so bright it made the night blush. Wild streaks of pink, blue, orange, dripping like veins of fire across crumbling brick. And there she was, Ava Rodriguez, balanced on a ladder, spray can in hand, headphones drowning out the world. She moved like a storm, disguised as a woman. Her jeans were torn, her tank top streaked with paint, and her hair caught the flicker of a dying neon sign above the bodega across the street. She wasn't just painting, she was fighting. Fighting silence, fighting gravity, fighting time. I froze, transfixed. Wall Street had taught me to measure risk, to calculate profit. But in that moment, all my numbers failed me, because nothing about her made sense. And yet she made more sense than anything in my life. She noticed me, pulled down one headphone, smirked. Lost Wall Street. Her voice cut sharper than the spray hissing from her can. I should have walked away, but something about the way she said it pinned me to the cracked pavement. Maybe, I said, or maybe I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. She laughed, sharp, bright, dangerous. And just like that, I was hooked. I kept finding reasons to pass that block again. Night after night, tie loosened, shoes scuffed, I returned. Sometimes she ignored me, lost in the chaos of color. Sometimes she threw barbs my way. Nice watch, bet it cost more than my rent. Or, careful suit, you'll stain those pretty shoes. I called her reckless. She called me boring. I said her murals would be painted over by morning. She said my soul had been painted over years ago. We clashed. And God, it felt good. Because for the first time in years, I wasn't living on autopilot. I was alive. One night I sat on the curb and just watched. The street was empty except for us. Shadows stretching under flickering streetlights. Why do you do this? I asked. Ava sprayed one last streak of red across the wall before glancing down. Because walls don't lie. Because paint doesn't ask questions. Because if I don't, the silence wins. Her words carved deeper than any market crash ever could. Soon the silence between us wasn't silence anymore. It was music. I'd bring coffee, she'd steal one. I'd ask about her sketches. She'd roll her eyes, but show me anyway. I'd sit with my loosened tie, watching her hands move like lightning across brick. And she'd tease me for staring too long. She started sketching versions of me in her notebooks. Little doodles of a stiff suit slowly melting into color. She'd never admit it out loud, but I saw the pages. And she caught me smiling when I did. I showed her rooftop photos from my office. Skyline shots, sharp and lifeless. She grabbed a marker and drew neon hearts all over them. There, she said, now they're worth looking at. And I couldn't argue. We were fire and ice, clashing every step. She hated the world I came from. Men in suits who measured worth in dollars, not dreams. I hated watching her waste her talent on walls destined to be washed away. But beneath every fight was a rhythm, a connection we couldn't deny. Brooklyn noticed too. People stopped to photograph her murals, whispered her name, posted her art online. She was a spark turning into a flame. And me, I was the fool standing too close, letting myself burn. One night, she painted something different. Two silhouettes holding hands beneath a rain of neon hearts, faces turned toward each other but blurred, incomplete. She stepped down from her ladder, wiped paint from her cheek and looked straight at me. "You're not just watching anymore, are you?" she asked softly. I swallowed, throat tight. "No." And just like that, the distance between us collapsed. It before she was old enough to remember. Art was her rebellion, her survival. I told her about my world, private schools, quiet suburbs, a career path paved before I could walk it. My rebellion was silence, hiding myself behind spreadsheets and stock forecasts. We were opposite ends of the same spectrum, and somehow that's why we fit. But deep down, I knew fire and ice can't touch without steam. And steam doesn't last forever. Still, I kept coming back, because I couldn't stay away, because she was chaos and I was tired of control, because every time she laughed, it felt like a brick had been ripped from the wall I'd built around myself. And for the first time in my life, I didn't care about the future. I only cared about neon nights, paint-stained hands, and a woman who lived like tomorrow wasn't guaranteed. What I didn't know was that Brooklyn doesn't let you love something without asking what you're willing to lose. And soon, I'd find out. Brooklyn will sell you the skyline and send the bill in shadows. If you're going to love something here, you'd better be ready to bleed for it. Weeks blurred into a rhythm I didn't recognize but secretly craved. Daylight swallowed by spreadsheets, midnight given back by paint. I'd leave the glass towers with ink still drying on a deal memo, cut across streets that smelled like rain and hot steel, and find her ladder leaned against a fresh wall. The first hiss of the can was always the starter pistol. I forgot the market. I remembered my pulse. We fit, but not cleanly. We were a rough splice. 2 tracks welded in a hurry, sparks flying. She tore holes in my routines and stitched them with noise and color. I brought food, she forgot to eat. I brought water, she forgot she was thirsty. I brought questions. She brought a look that said, ask the real one. And I did. Why these walls? I asked one night, watching neon orange pour like sunrise down old brick. Because they're honest, she said. They don't pretend to last. They just show up loud and let the weather have them. I want to be that brave. Brave things still break, I said. She smiled without mercy. So do cowards. We laughed. We kissed under a busted streetlight that blinked like it was trying to learn the rhythm. It tasted like wet paint and relief. Then a siren cut through our moment. New York reminding us who owned the soundtrack. Her name started to spread. An arts blog found her feed and turned it into a headline. The girl who sets brick on fire. A gallery invited her to show canvas work. She made a face when I told her. They want to cage the roar, she said, but she went anyway. Wore boots with paint on them, refused to clean the edges. She stood in front of pieces that used to be walls. Didn't say please. I watched her in that white room, my suit suddenly, dressed wrong for the weather, and felt the swell of being proud, but also the tug of being scared. Success is another word for exposure. Exposure is another word for target. The target arrived fast. A developer bought 3 buildings on her block and ordered a scrub crew at dawn. In one morning, they bleached 2 months of nights out of existence. The new lease banners flapped above blank walls like passport stamped future only. She stared at the erasure and didn't blink. That night she painted over their corrugated gate, a heart the size of a window, a meteor trail of pink, a small script along the bottom. Even gates aren't forever. The gate was rolled up by morning. The heart folded like a secret into the ceiling. She got bolder. So did the city. Meanwhile, my world tugged harder. Early mornings got earlier. A new senior partner asked me without asking to choose a side. You've got the numbers, Sullivan, he grinned. Don't get distracted by hobbies. He meant her. He meant my life. He meant stop becoming someone we didn't hire. I tried to split myself cleaner. Day Jack and Night Jack took turns leaving bruises. I missed a wall. Then I missed 2. I texted apologies that sounded like excuses because that's what they were. She replied with single words that didn't lie. Copy. Okay. Paint. We snapped in the cold. You can just say you don't want this, she said outside a closed deli. Both of us breathing fog. That isn't true, I said. I want it, God, I want us, but I have to keep my job. I can't blow up everything I built. You didn't build it, she said. You inherited it. And now you're letting it tell you who you're allowed to be. Ava, no, she said. You talk about risk all day and can't take one at night. I paint like tomorrow is a rumor, Jack. You live like tomorrow is law. We stared at each each other long enough to hear a train a neighborhood away. I reached for her. She stepped back. Our silence cracked like ice and swallowed the moment. We left in opposite directions, the streetlight blinking between us like a witness. Days went to static. I signed a deal I didn't care about and watched my reflection in the conference room glass look both older and cheaper. Nights I walked anyway. I found a wall she'd started and not finished, a ghost of color, a promise with no breath. Across the street, somebody had tagged over one of her older pieces with something cruel and lazy. I stood there and felt anger arrive like a clean flame. I sent her nothing because what could I send? My sorry would just bounce off the brick. Then an envelope arrived at my office. No return address, just my name scrawled. Inside, a 4 or 6 photo. Her latest mural finished. It showed a man in a suit standing beneath a rain of neon hearts, looking like he'd just realized he'd been living underwater. In the corner, tiny lettering, even walls can change. The post-it stuck to the back said 2 words: show up. I did. She was on the curb, hoodie up, hands raw with color. I sat without asking, ruined a pair of pants I used to care about, and let the city keep talking around us. I don't want safe, she said, not looking at me. I want true, even if it's expensive. I'm done with safe, I said. And I'm ready to pay, she turned. The corner of her lip, the honest corner, gave up its defense. Okay, she said. Then we make rules. We made them on the back of a pizza flyer. Thursday is ours, no matter who calls. We don't fight at 2 a.m., we write it down and fight at noon. If you miss a night, you send a location and a photo so the other can see the air you're breathing. No silent treatments, ever. We signed like a treaty. It felt ridiculous. It felt sacred. We kept it for a while. Good things don't end in one blow. They fray. The gallery wanted more canvas. The developer wanted my firm. Irony enjoys a cigarette while it watches you choose. I was assigned to the account that was going to pave over her block and sell it in pieces. I said I had a conflict. The partner smiled, a kind of kindness that only exists when power is bored. No, you have a promotion on the line, I told her. I didn't pretend it was nothing. I said the words like handing over a weapon and trusting her not to use it. Are you gonna take it? She asked. I don't know, I said. It was true and useless. She paced, hands stained, shoulders squared. You can't be both, she said. Not forever. I can try. That's the softest way to say no I've ever heard. We didn't kiss that night. We let our rules hold us in place while our hearts ran laps we couldn't watch. 2 days later, someone defaced her newest wall. Not a tag, a message. Art doesn't pay rent. Cheap paint. Cheap thought. She painted over the letters with color so loud it felt like a siren, and added a new line along the bottom. But it pays attention. The post went viral. The comments were a fist fight. The developer sent a cease and desist. The gallery sent flowers. I sent nothing because I was in a meeting about a spreadsheet that would gut the corner where we met. I walked out of that meeting. Not heroic, panicked. I found a stairwell and listened to my breath argue with my pulse. I texted her 3 words. Pick your wall. She sent back a pin. We met at a dead end under the BQE where daylight comes filtered through rust. The concrete had been quiet for years. She slapped it with primer like waking a giant. I rolled paint edge to edge while she chalked outlines fast as thought. A kid on a scooter watched like we were cooking. An old woman in a pink coat handed us water and said, "Make it loud." We did. She built a city out of color and left the sky uncolored on purpose. I sketched a skyline without windows. She filled them with neon hearts. We worked until our shoulders hung. Cars hammered past above us, shaking dust from bolts older than our arguments. When we stepped back at last light, it looked like a confession we were brave enough to sign. That's when the cops rolled slow. You learn the sound, not the siren, the approach. We had permits, technically. We also had faces that said this wall is ours in a city that hates the word ours. They checked, frowned, told us to pack up anyway and sorted with the city tomorrow. The kid on the scooter booed. The old woman in the pink coat clapped. The officer smirked despite himself. We left with our heads up because that's the only way to leave some places. By morning, a blogger had posted the piece with a headline that would have embarrassed us if it hadn't been true. Love looks better in color. My partner sent me a one-line email. We should talk. Ava sent me one too, tonight. Bring your real face. I went to her with the promotion in my pocket like a stone. I told her I said no. The partner called it a career event. I called it air. He said I'd regret it. I already had too many times for the wrong reasons. Are you sure? She asked. No, I said. But I'm decided. She let that sit. Then she painted a small heart on my shirt pocket with her thumb and said, "Congratulations, now you can hear." We didn't become perfect. We became accurate. We kept the rules. We broke them and fixed them. We made new ones that fit the season. She taught workshops to kids who had more to say than their schools ever asked them. I took on smaller clients who wanted to invest in places instead of devour them. Money got weirder. Time got better. Then we got hit. A crew showed up one dawn with gray paint and instructions and erased the wall under the BQE. It wasn't personal. That was the problem. Nothing stings like casual destruction. We stood there with coffee cooling in our hands and watched our hours vanish in 4 minutes. I said, "Say the word." She shook her head. "No, not war. Witness." That night we projected photos of the mural onto the bare concrete and invited the block. People came with lawn chairs and stories. A man told us he'd proposed in front of the wall last week. A girl said she'd finally told her mother she wanted to draw because of the glowing windows. An EMT on break leaned against his rig and nodded through the slideshow like a benediction. The cops rolled by again and didn't stop. The city had to make room for us. Or maybe we learned how to stand so still, the city flowed around us without washing us away. Months later, the gallery offered her a solo show. She refused to move everything to canvas. "Half walls," she said. "Half frames," they blinked. Then they agreed because sometimes stubbornness is a lighthouse. Opening night, she wore a paint-splattered jumpsuit like armor and smiled like a dare. I wore a suit with a scuff I didn't polish out on purpose. The room filled. People read her titles like prayers. Later kills love, even gates aren't forever. Make it loud. I stood near a print of the underpass and listened to a stranger explain our piece to his date with total confidence. It was adorable. It was infuriating. It was art. She took the mic, cleared her throat, and said, "I don't paint because I have answers. I paint because I'm trying to make a question brave." Then she looked at me, just for a half second, and I felt the floor steady. After, we stepped onto the sidewalk, the night swallowing the gallery glow. She looped her paint-sticky fingers through mine. "You know what I hate?" she said. "What?" "That love stories always end it together. Like the work starts after the credits. So what do we do?" I asked. "We keep the credits from rolling," she said. "We keep picking the wall." I kissed her under a neon sign that had given up the letter O, so it read, "Pen 24 hers," which felt exactly right. We still fight. She still sprints ahead. I still check the map. She still paints knowing weather is undefeated. I still save knowing some things deserve rescue. Sometimes we switch. We're learning. If you want the moral, you'll have to bring your own paint. Mine is simple. Love is not tidy. Love is not safe. Love is a wall that tells the truth and lets the weather speak. Some nights the weather is kind. Some mornings the gate rolls up and hides your heart in the ceiling. You learn to make another. You learn to keep making another. Brooklyn didn't crown me. It carved me. Ava didn't rescue me. She handed me a can and said, "Aim." Now, when I walk those blocks, I see the ghosts of what we've lost and the glow of what we've dared. I see kids drawing windows that don't exist yet and a woman who laughs like sparks when a color lands exactly where it belongs. They say the city changes you. They're right. But if you're lucky, you find the person who keeps you from changing back. And me? I'd rather live a short lifetime in neon with her than a long one in grayscale without her. Because some nights don't whisper. They scream, and some hearts don't beat, they burn.